Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. One of the most satisfying moments in a conflict is when your enemy recognizes that you beat him, or recognizes, agrees, or reports that you are doing some things that are successful. That tells you that you probably are doing 3 times more good things, in your opinion, than they are reported. In this case, we have the Ukrainians claiming that the Russians retook one settlement in Kursk Oblast. That tells us that the Russians, little by little, are pushing the Ukrainians out, or the Ukrainians, not the Ukrainians, whomever fights over there. So I have four topics for this video. One, the Russians are pushing back on Kursk. They just retook another village over there, according to Ukrainians. The other topic, and I'm going to show you two maps on that. The other topic is the Russians actually are about to take 3 settlements in Donetsk Oblast. About 3 settlements, I'm going to show you where exactly. So they're pushing forward in Donetsk as well. The other one is the European Union supposedly trained 60,000 Ukrainian troops so far. Now, in those 60,000 Ukrainians, I suspect there were some non-Ukrainians, the volunteers that these guys are talking about. How many? We're going to find out. The Ukrainians are claiming that those guys were trained by the European Union, and now the European Union wants to train them in Ukraine. That means there will be just some advisors and trainers, Western NATO trainers, that were going to come over there and have trained the trainees. You know what I mean? And the Russians will blow them up, and then they're going to say, well, the Russians already said, if you bring your trainers, your commanders, which I think, I suspect, that the trainers will not only come as trainers, hey, you do this, you do that. I think they will come with their own troops, but they will not report it. Only the Russians will lie about it. We have another article, and the last one deals with the Russians claiming that the communication in Kursk was in English and Polish. Like the Poles have balls. Now, if you think those are just, as the Russians call them, mercenaries, and the other ones call them, volunteers, I would call them none of these things. I mean, they're both, I would say, they're over there, plus the other one that these guys don't mention yet. I would claim NATO countries' troops took their uniforms down, off, and put their volunteering uniforms, took a picture as a volunteer, put it right here, in case the Russians boom, 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 and then they say, oh, it's a volunteer right here, right? Or a mercenary. And then they went and fought in Ukraine. As I said, when they are eliminated, they will show as volunteers in a foreign legion or something, or international legion. So let's start with the first article and see what the Ukrainians are claiming about the Russian retake of the village of Korenevo. So, Ukrainska Pravda, Friday, 30th of August 2024. Russians retake village of Korenevo in Kursk Oblast, deep state, right here. I'm going to show you where this is located. Let's start first with this one. It's all right, I'm going to show you a better map. So this is the village of Korenevo, which is kind of big. And I'm going to show you where that's located in the big scheme of things. So the border is right here with Ukraine. And this is where the Ukrainian the troops invaded Russia. Here is Sumy Oblast, Kursk Oblast. This is where my strong hand is located. That's this Korenevo. These guys are lazy from Sputnik. It's the 28th of August, and we are in the 30th already, so they didn't update squat. So this is how much the invaders, in this case, we can call them invaders, counterattackers, however we want to call them, got, according to the Russians, out of their territory. And Korenevo is right here, according to this map from the 28th. Now, the Ukrainians claim that the Ukrainians took over this, and now they lost it. All right, so now you know this is the border with Ukraine, this is Russia. All right, let's go to the next article. Russia advances in Mikhailivka, Donetsk Oblast, aims to seize 3 other settlements. So advances in this and will take other 3 settlements. So let's see where those guys are. They show you here Mikhailivka right here. And then The Russian army has taken control of Korenyevo. This is the one right here. Village in Kursk Oblast, the analyst added. These advances and their directions are marked on deep state map. These guys in the first article, they also mentioned this. In addition to this, the Russians advance in Mykolaiivka near Panteleimonivka, Pischane, and Andriivka in Donetsk Oblast. All right, so let's see where that is located. We're going to go from Kursk to Donetsk Oblast, right? So that is in this area here, where we have this cock-shaped, or how we want to look at it, invaders took out of Ukrainian land. Here is the Mykolaiivka. Remember, these guys are 2 days in the past. So this is where they show in this map, these guys got to Mykolaiivka, according to the deep state and tralala. So the Russians obviously are advancing here, not only here in Donetsk, but also in Kursk. They pushed the invaders back. I mean, maybe because the front line could shift. Now let's see what the Europeans are doing with the trainees. DPA International, August 30th, 2024. EU ministers tight-lipped on training Ukrainian soldiers in Ukraine. Well, I tell you what's going to be. Don't have to be tight-lipped, I tell you. Why? Because it's not a rocket science what these guys are going to do. They all did it in the past, they will do it in the future. They will send military trainers from NATO countries to Ukraine. They will make over their facilities, training facilities, or will take over the Ukrainian training facilities, or part of them. And the Americans, the French, the whomever, the guys who have experience in war, like the Canadians or the Baltic states, because they fought wars since 1902, all right? So they will train the Ukrainians over there, and they will be targets for the Russians, and the Russians will get them. Now, what I suspect these guys are not telling you is that those guys will come with their own units of, I don't know, volunteers, let's put it this way, and they will train them right there. And those volunteers could be, I'm not saying they are, could be, I don't know, NATO troops, straight platoons, come from, let's say, Poland as a platoon, enters Ukraine as a volunteer platoon, goes over there trained by an American, military trainer, and they go in front of the Russians as a volunteer platoon. But they're not volunteer platoon, they are organized from that. That's what I think is going to happen. You're going to find out this. We are going, not find out, I think will be confirmed. This is just a supposition. But, I can't turn full retard. I mean, they did it before. They did it before a long time ago. And they tell us, oh my God, remember, they started in Korea. And then in Vietnam, the same thing. We were not involved. We just sent over there some trainers actively involved in fighting. So, I mean, this trick is... but the baboons who are not told this in school, the baboons who are lazy to read good stuff, or the other side of the story, let's put it this way, they don't know about this. So when I'm going to say this, oh my God, what kind of theory you put here, Emil? Well, why don't you pick a fucking book and read? I'm not saying you, because you're here with me. But baboons in general. But baboons can't read. Well, they barely. In our society nowadays, they barely. So let's see. Look how important it is, man, full of these guys. EU defense ministers meeting in Brussels on Friday were tight-lipped about a plan to move some of the EU training operations inside Ukraine and train Ukrainian soldiers there. There you have. Dutch defense minister. You know why the Dutch, which a population of what, 14 million people, when you need something in the waters, in the ocean next to the Netherlands. You don't have to hit Netherlands. Next to it, and the wave, the tsunami will destroy all the levees, and they will just give it a good wash like Hercules did to the stables. Remember our culture, forget about it. Now we got all right, let's go here and be no, don't be like this, be oh fuck, here we go again. Anyway, so Dutch, these guys are in charge, said the move has been a careful decision and the risks and benefits weighed up by the European Union. We are open to talk about this. What about the risks are the Russians will nuke you? One nuclear bomb on Netherlands. Let's say that's a risk. Would you take that risk? And their answer will be, the Russians will never dare to do that. I thought the Russians are crazy. Oh, no, no, no. They're very calculated in this case. Only in this case. So in that case, no, they're crazy. My friends. And we have here, currently training is taking place in Germany and Poland. The training mission started in November 2022. So far, 52 Ukrainian soldiers have been trained according to EU figures from May. The EU wants to train 60,000 Ukrainian soldiers in total by the end of the summer. EU defense ministers are also to debate the mission's extensions until 2026. Well, that could be stopped with one missile. There you go. EU has trained 60,000 Ukrainian soldiers and this summer is increasing. German defense minister. That's not what I read here, right? The German PAC, the training mission, Ukrainian soldiers, EU defense ministers. So they say they want to train 60 and they trained 52 so far. And the Ukrainians are way ahead of their, anyway. EU has trained 60,000 Ukrainian soldiers and this summer is increasing. German defense minister. How proud are you, man? Maybe you're going to be the European Union president as von der Leyen was. Just appointed. Picked from here, got over there, agreed upon, and there you go. European democracy. European Union style democracy. The EU will achieve, the EU will achieve. How in the hell? Isn't this present perfect? Has trained. Yes, it's present perfect. That's the tense. Has trained. It means something that occurred in the past and ended in the past. I'm going to give you some grammar lessons here. Ended, otherwise has been training. No, has trained. That means in the past, they trained and it ended in the past at an unknown time. You don't know exactly when. If you would say last month, you would put past tense. That means last month or on the 30th, or a known date is past tense and a not known date is present perfect, which is has trained. That means you started in the past, stopped. So the title is, probably the Ukrainians need some lesson on this one. I know what I'm talking about in these kind of things. So has trained, and here they say EU will achieve the number of 60,000 trained. All right, as early as tomorrow. Great for you. Great, good. And let's go and see what the Russians are claiming about the mercenaries. This is according to Sputnik 10 hours ago, which is on August 30th. Mercenaries speaking English with Georgian accent. Poles spotted near Kursk. Poles with balls. The Poles already, Duda, the president of Poland, claimed that Polish tanks are used in Kursk to advance towards Moscow, because the Poles think that they will go again to Moscow. Yes, Poland invaded Russia and got to Moscow. Remember? No? Okay. Part of what? Just read history. Foreign mercenaries who spoke English with a Georgian accent. You can say, well, how can you figure it out? Well, I don't know about you, but if I hear someone speaking with a Russian accent, I know that's Russian accent. If I hear someone speaking with a Romanian accent, I can figure it out in proportion of about 90%. So 9 in 10. I can figure it out. If someone speaks with a German, with a French, it's even better. Now with the Georgian accent, I let the Russians figure that out. I couldn't determine if it's a Ukrainian speaking English or a Russian, but no, that kind of Russian, Ukrainian, Georgian, to me probably sound the same way in speaking English. But I'm pretty sure they can narrow it down. Maybe they're lying, possible. As well as Polish units were spotted in the Kursk region. So these guys were spotted. Russian foreign, so not only in communication. Russian Foreign Ministry ambassador at large on the Kiev regime's war crimes, Rodion Miroshnik, said in an interview with Sputnik. He might be lying. I'm not. But he might be telling the truth. Earlier, Miroshchuk told Sputnik that he visited the Kursk region last week. He said that during the visit he met with dozens of civilians who told him about the enemy's crimes. And I'm quoting, the people I met with and from whom I received confirmed information mentioned the appearance of people speaking English with a Georgian accent. Just a second. Polish units on the territory of the Kursk region. Now, I don't know if a villagers, that's what they are, villagers in Kursk, they are able to understand, have so much contact. I'm not putting past that, but Russia is a big country, or the Russian Federation, because the Federation. Now, Georgia is far away from Kursk. In order for the civilians to really figure out that the guy was speaking with a Georgian accent, maybe they know shit like that. But how did you gain this experience? I put it past me. Let's say I'm a Romanian, right, by birth. Now, I can tell you that guy is Romanian not only by the accent, but most likely by the appearance. Yeah, that's true. That's when these guys are telling you, well, this discriminating. No, I can tell you 98% of the time that's a Romanian rider without even opening the mouth. Just looking at him. He doesn't have to act or move around. Look at him. I can tell you. That's my experience, direct, and I'm sharing it with you. You don't like it? What are you going to do? That's my experience. I'm telling you from what. Am I lying? How do you know I'm lying? Well, anyway, this is for YouTube, not for you. And then it's the accent. I can tell you that guy is Romanian by the accent, but I can't really pinpoint it's a guy from Transylvania or from the southern part, or from Moldova or Țara Românească, Moldova. I can't tell you that, really. And the country of Romania is much closer, smaller than a guy from Kursk telling me something about the Caucasus, Georgia, and to pinpoint it as a Georgian, not an Azerbaijani or I don't know, something from South Ossetia, or no, from Georgia. Maybe they know, but I don't think so. And those are villages, are not experts. Suppose they are villages. When I say villages, village dwellers. All right, nothing wrong about that, but how much experience you have living in this village all the time? You watch TV and you learn from TV, maybe I give you that, but that's about it. That's all your experience you can have. Or maybe you know someone related. Okay, let's go. Polish units. There you go, my friend. Polish units. Polish units could be volunteers, could be mercenaries, or could be troops. Polish troops, they say units. All right, my friends, here it is. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.